star. I can see you, I can hear you, and I know that you are strong. You've been dealing with the demons, now you know where you belong. In the echo of the night, we find solace, we find light, and the moment in our heart. When you hear the music start, I can see you, I can hear you, and I know that you are strong. You've been dealing with the demons, now you know where you belong. In the echo, dealing with the demons, now you know where you belong. In the echo of the night, we find solace, we find light, and the moment in our heart. When you hear the music start, I can see you, I can hear you, and I know that you are strong. You've been dealing with the demons, now you know where you belong. In the echo of the night, we find solace, we find light, and the moment in our heart. When you hear the music start, I can see you, I can hear you, and I know that you are strong. You've been dealing with the demons, now you know where you belong. In the echo. Been dealing with the demons, now you know where you belong. In the echo. Been dealing with the demons, now you know where you belong. In the echo.
Out on my own and it's all been the same. It's been hard as of late, feeling so out of place. How do I know if I got what it takes? Is it all just a chase? How long do I wait? Ooh, I wanna know what it feels like to find the missing piece. Only had to realize it was always me. Would you even care if you knew that you had it all? Would you even dare if you knew you could never fall? When you're standing on the other side and breaking through the sky, would you even care if you knew you could never fall? No, you'll never fall. You can never fall. No, you'll never fall. You can never fall. No, you'll never fall. Out on my own, all these scars that I hide. If I go back in time, would I still hit rewind? No, I wouldn't change if it led me to this. the shit that I miss. I'd do it all again, all again. Now I know what it feels like to find the missing piece. Took this pain to realize it was always me. Would you even care if you knew that you had it all? Would you even dare if you knew you could never fall? When you're standing on the other side and breaking through the sky, would you even care if you knew you could never fall? No, you'll never fall. You can never fall. No, you'll never fall. You can never fall. No, you'll never fall.
It's deep land.
Well, now that the gang is all here.
Ooh, we're a gang now?
we've been a gang. All right, let's.
No. We're a group. We're a group. We prefer to be called a group.
I prefer Coven.
Okay.
Yeah, we're a gang, and Jen is the gang leader. Let's start the show.
We're Coven. Yes.
A gaggle.
A gaggle of fuck.
Distance nerding.
What up, everybody?
Hello.
Well, ladies and gentlemen, it is time. Sandra says she likes Coven.
Yeah,
it is
'cause
time.
cool.
We are doing this. We weren't going to do it because of the cancellation. But Jen convinced me, hey, and it wasn't much convincing, to be fair. But she goes, we still haven't done a show recapping Agatha All Along. And I was like, cool, let's do it. Let's go. Let's do this.
We were very quick response.
We were also going to do Penguin, but Shadu hasn't watched Penguin.
I have not seen it.
Like a fucking pleb.
Look, I value my mental health.
You've also been in a fucking internet desert for like the last month and a half. So I mean, like,
exactly.
Yeah. We didn't like lock him in a barn or anything.
I was locked in a barn, but they did not lock me in a barn. So.
No.
Yeah, he locked himself in the barn.
Well, I mean, that's just what the police think.
He's like, it smells like a fucking barn in here.
Hey.
Typically I would say barn burner, but no, not happening.
It smells of barn, a little bit of English lavender.
English lavender.
Oh man.
That's what happens when your father is a no wait, your dad is a Scotsman, right?
Yeah.
Because Jen, you're the Irish one, right?
Yeah, I'm Irish.
All right.
And you know what Irish lavender is? Beer.
That makes sense.
It is. Except it's dyed purple for some reason.
Absolutely. Well, we're going to go over Agatha All Along, ladies and gentlemen. We have at least all watched that.
Yes.
Shadu.
I watched it all in one night.
Yeah, because Shadu hasn't watched Penguin yet, like me and Jen have, because I know Jen watched Penguin because the night of the finale, we were texting each other like, oh my fucking God, did you watch this shit?
I said, the only thing I said, so I had to go to the bathroom in the middle of us watching it. And so as soon as I paused it so I could go, I went, this fucking show. That's all I said.
Yeah. Now, by that point, did you get to, I'm not going to spoil it, but did you get to the scene that obviously made me upset because I kept, but I mean like the scene that obviously upset me because I kept texting you his name?
No, I hadn't gotten to that scene yet, but I had by the time you saw it.
Okay.
I didn't say, like, when I texted you this fucking show, I'd already seen the whole thing. But, yeah, I was like, holy mother, blah, 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 blah. I mean,
yeah, because you saw how upset I was. Because
yes.
That was my boy. I was so upset. He was my boy.
Yeah. Well, I thought this person was going to be in the whole, like, it longer. Yeah. Like, I thought maybe we'd get him in Batman 2 and stuff, so. Because
like, they established him as such a pivotal character, and it's like, fucking Game of Thrones bullshit.
Yep. You gotta have a Game of Thrones twist, everybody. That's right, Penguin dies.
Yeah. No, you know what? She's not wrong. Because a version of the Penguin does die.
Yeah, that's true. But we won't say anything else because
I was about to say you're getting real close to
Well, no, because I mean that's the point of these kind of shows is you're looking at the evolution of a character, especially when the entire show is called The Penguin. Right. So the old version of the Penguin dies in order to get the current version, and Oh man, he is the version of the Penguin that we all have been wanting for a long time, and it's
Except for
fucking
the
great.
female version that we got in the new Batman.
She's a different monster, and I think she needs her own show in
She
general.
is awesome. The
And when I
female
say
Penguin,
monster, I mean she is a fucking monster, and I love
she
her.
is. Yeah. Oh yeah. Although there are some parallels.
Yeah, no, absolutely are parallels. Again, she is an absolute disgusting monster,
Oh.
and in a good way, like, you know, in any way that you can call that a good way. But I mean, like,
Mhm.
her character was so well written and so well done, and I think that she's more formidable than any version of the male version of the Penguin we've had.
Yeah.
Coming close, this one.
Yeah. Oh, definitely. When afterwards, I was like, man, this has got some of that vibe to it. So yeah,
Yes,
I
you
was
know what?
really happy about it.
I would probably say this version, based on what happens in that season finale, is more disgusting than Oswalda. And Oswalda,
Yeah.
did you watch
No.
the Cape Crusader?
Nope.
Fuck!
Not seen it.
What is it with you and Batman, dude? You get just refuse to watch Batman shit.
It's got nothing to do with refusal. It's just I just haven't. I don't know.
And to
But you
Not
watched
against
one
it.
in one fucking night.
Agatha, no. Well, okay. So it was one of those. It took him a couple of days, and I had given him a couple of days to kind of acclimate himself back to the fun
Civilization?
house.
Civilization.
Yeah, pretty much.
And so then we were gonna watch it. Like a huge long story. We have a new TV in our living
The whole
room,
thing.
and it's it's like a 60-inch
It's
television.
it's
Huge.
Right, and it is only allowed to play, specifically only allowed to play Apex Legends on it. Yeah, I know that.
Yes.
right. Yes, yes. Which is what is
so-
currently happening in the other room.
Yeah. And so anyway, so husband goes, hey, do you guys want to watch? We were watching the first 2 episodes. He's like, hey, do you guys want to watch the other ones in the big TV? And so we were like, yeah, fine. And so we turned the lights off and made it all like, you know, real ambiance and everything. And then he was like, well, I said, you know what? We need to watch the first trial. Cause he was like, no, let's just watch the first 2. And I was like, we need to watch the first trial. That way you'll have an idea. So we get through the first trial. And then I'm like, well, now you got to find out what happens next. And so then, after the 4th
And
one, he was
so
like,
basically at like episode 4, I was like, okay, fuck it.
no, because then after episode 4, I was like, okay, we're done. And he went, no, we're not. He was invested. So
I was
it
very
pretty funny.
invested.
Okay, so before we jump into Agatha, one other thing I've got to address here. So, Say Wong, I know you've been hearing a lot of bad things about Fandom Con and everything like that. All I can tell you is my experience with Fandom Con was great. You know, we met a lot of new people. We got to perform on stage. We had a lot of fun. You know, we were our usual showy selves. So I know there are words online, people saying that they, you know, whatever experiences that they had, we didn't have a similar experience. We also weren't really vendors. So, I mean, I don't know what the vendor experience was. I can't really speak to that. And I won't, because that's not my place. My place is to tell you that we went, we had a good time. We enjoyed ourselves. We had a good show. We met a lot of fun celebrities and fun con goers. People had fun with us, and that's really what matters at the end of the day for us. So
I was not there. I did not
Nor was
experience
I.
any of it.
right,
So I have no idea.
you guys were both in Oklahoma. So
Yes.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
I think I would have rather been at FandomCon.
Yeah. No, that's fair.
I'm also wearing a Captain Carter sweater.
I noticed that, and I love it.
Look at the look.
Oh, you've got the shield on your arm.
No, it came like that. Is that not so cool?
She's been so excited about this.
It's been just like I've had it since I got it. It's hung up, and I'm like every now and then I just look at it and I go, next.
And I've got your
next
shield.
Sunday.
Hey, that's good. No, that's good. That's good. Those are some good. Yeah,
Do you love that I have that sitting next to me, though?
it's
Yeah,
great.
I
it's
think
very-
that's great. Of course, there aren't any cookies in it, but you know.
I wish there were still cookies in it. I'd be fucking munching on them still.
They are good.
They are very good cookies. I
She did a
agree.
good job.
She do.
Thank you.
Hats off to you. Wrong button. There we go.
All I needed was to be told that they were like Lumbus, and I'm good.
I'm sure. No, see, he didn't call them like lumbus, but he did say that they were delicious and he couldn't stop eating them. So I mean,
Yeah,
Yeah.
that is probably just as
I'll
good.
take it. Yeah, I'll take it.
Because I remember after his like third cookie, he put it down. And was like, I need to stop eating these.
Yeah, he had to
Right.
physically like move them away from him. It was
And see,
he
that
just
is
kept
all.
chewing
That
them.
is all the compliment I need.
Yeah, he kept like, every now and then he'd take a bite and then he'd answer a question. He'd take a bite, answer a question. And he's like, you have to get these away from me. So
He was like, no, I'm done with these. I can't do it.
yeah, I can't eat. I've had 3. So you're building the space shuttle.
Yes.
That's cool. And
Well,
is
for
it
all of my space nerds out there? Yes, it is the shuttle Discovery.
Ooh.
Discovery? I was gonna say, is it Columbia? Is it Discovery? Is it Challenger?
is.
Well, probably not Challenger.
Well,
Although
Yeah, it's
Well,
definitely.
no,
you
no,
could
no.
have it in pieces and it would still be built. I guess.
I was about to say
that was
it's
bad.
Challenger right now.
There it is.
That's-
The Challenger,
there you
the
go.
show Challenger.
There you go.
No. So the what's fun is that the first piece that it comes with, or the first thing I build, is the Hubble.
Yeah,
Oh,
and that
that's
is
cool.
so cool.
Right. So and it's got the little card right
Oh, the
here,
little
the
placard,
space
yeah.
telescope, yeah. So it gives you everything on there: the launch date,
Mhm.
the mass when it was launched, the velocity that it went at, and the deployment altitude.
Yeah.
So
Oh, that's
cool.
awesome. Yeah, Sandra
Yeah.
Betty, I wanted to be an astronaut when I was young too. I seriously wanted to go to space camp. And my
For the
parents were
record-
like, you can't go to space camp.
I was on the astronomer side rather than astronaut side.
Yeah.
I preferred to be on Earth with a telescope.
Yeah. Well, you can't be as cool as me.
Do I not have- Do I not have a nerd button? Nerd.
We should have one.
We need to have a nerd one.
And like every time James says anything, go nerd. Or we should have one that says nerd, not nerd.
You know what I used to do, and I just got to go find the soundbite again. But what I would do is anytime we said something that was overly nerdy on the show, I put a soundbite in of Homer going, nerd!
That's awesome. So, before
anyway,
we
we've been
get
here for 23 minutes. Let's talk about the show.
Yeah, I was gonna say, before we get into actually like talking a little bit about Agatha and everything, while you build the space shuttle, I hope that they don't build the space shuttle like that, by the way. But what did you guys think like the show was gonna be? Like, what were your expectations going into it?
Yeah, it's like initial reactions.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like just initial, like, what did you think? And then like, what did it meet your expectations, I guess?
My expectations were exceeded. I was expecting it to be like, I was giving it a chance no matter what, because originally, remember, we were all kind of skeptical because they kept changing the name of the show, and it felt like they just kept changing things, and it just didn't seem like they were confident in the show at all.
Yeah. I kind of got that too. So, yeah.
Right, which turned out to just be a swerve. They were just fucking with people because there's no way you didn't know that show was going to be a hit.
Oh, definitely.
Yeah.
Especially with like the way that all the toxic nerds were talking about it online before it, like when it announced. So they're talking about it's going to be the end of Marvel. They want to do a whole Agatha show.
And if they're mad about something, it's probably going to be great.
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
always. The more mad they are, the more likely the show is actually going to be good. Because
Exactly.
toxic tears.
Yes, I love drinking those in my coffee. But just the toxic ones, because I can't have them afternoon because then I'm awake all day.
Well, to be fair, you can't have too much of it because the toxicity is at a level so high it's like coconut.
Right.
Yeah, definitely.
Oh, it's yeah.
Yep. I'll blow up like Violet Beauregard. Shadu, did you have any set expectations going in?
I don't really remember what my expectations were, but from the scarce little I do, I was looking forward to it. I was like, I'd be interesting. I like Agatha. It'd be fun. I obviously seen the trailers. I was like, okay, there's music. That okay, yeah, okay, that kind of makes sense. They weren't particularly high. I was like, oh, this is just gonna be, you know, it's gonna be another Marvel show, you know. It'll be, I'm sure it'll be good, but I don't know. So yeah, my expectations were pretty low. No, my expectations were exceeded, I think, like the first episode. So
yeah.
Yeah, I had pretty low expectations.
Oh,
So.
Okay. And I mean, the kind of jumping in without jumping in. That first episode was like such a police procedural, and it was so good.
Yeah.
Yeah. It was really. It was one of those things where, like, for my expectations. I mean, Shadu, did you have anything else?
Nope.
Before I get into mine, okay. So my expectations. I didn't know if it was just going to be like the same format that they did with WandaVision, where it was going to be like a few episodes and each episode was going to be like a different TV show kind of thing, like they did with that, or what they were going to do with that. So the first episode, I was like, oh, I guess this is what they're going to do. But then by the end of it, having her come out of it, I was like, oh, wait, this is a whole new ball game. So I was pretty happy to have my expectations subverted,
right,
and then elevated. So it was like I that's what I thought. So the first one, called "Seekest Thou the Road," I thought was great because it was definitely like a Mayor of Easttown, had that kind of vibe.
Yeah, absolutely.
Was very True Detective.
Yeah, very True Detective, Mayor of Easttown. What's the one with Jeremy Renner?
The King of it's so close to Mayor of Easttown.
Yeah, something like that. But
the King of Westtown.
No. Yeah, right.
It's something stupid like that. It's something like that it's so easily mistaken.
Yeah, like there's a few of them. So, and I really liked it. I loved the whole like the slates that they did in the actual show, where it was, which you find out it's the Ballad of the Witches Road, but it's like that funky, true crime version of it, and where it said based on a Danish series, One Dice Vision, like I was just like, oh, this is awesome.
The amount of like Easter eggs that are like in this show, and just kind of like the small little nods to different parts of Marvel and things like that. Like, they directly address Wanda being missing.
Yeah. Oh, that was fantastic. And the whole, so when it opens, we find out that Agnes, it's Agnes of Westview, that she was on disciplinary leave for punching a subject or punching a perp, and Herb is her partner / neighbor, and they're at a crime scene, and that crime scene, it seems to be it's what happened to Wanda after Doctor Strange mom, or
right after an entire mountain fell on her.
Right, yeah, after Wundagore.
Wundagore!
Wundagore!
They give you all these like little things, like, oh, it looks like she was crushed. It looks like she fell from it. It's like all these things where you're like, oh my God. And then you don't see Wanda's face at all or anything like that. She's got the black fingers, and
right.
And so you're like, oh my gosh, that's Wanda. But you don't see her, and you see the effect it has on Agnes. Then Agnes finds her brooch, Brooch. I'm gonna say Brooch. And she kind of gets clues to her, like, to what her real life is about. And we meet Rio, and there's some stuff going on between them, and you don't know. And you get to see people from WandaVision, like Norm and Phil Jones, who is the police chief, his wife Dottie, who's the head librarian, and in that scene above her head is the word reference. And I was like, are you kidding me? You're literally saying, hey, look, this is a reference. It's like, oh my God. So I loved all that.
It's like the lack of subtlety, but at the same time, it's like there are nods. It's so good.
Yeah. So, I mean, you get, like, you kind of start seeing where, like, somebody's trying to bring, Agatha's trying to get out of the Agnes persona on her own. And so I think that's why this whole Wanda Maximoff thing comes about. The library book checkout strip with no names on it, just dates. And then you've got the blunt force trauma caused by being crushed by something big and heavy, and the black fingers. And we get our first Wizard of Oz quote. And they're throughout the whole series, obviously. But Agnes says, she's dead, though. Isn't she, Herb? And Herb says, oh, she's really most sincerely dead. Which is what the Munchkins say to Dorothy. And she kills the Wicked Witch of the East.
Right.
So, yeah, so there's that. So, yeah. Mm-hmm. I thought that was kind of cool.
Yeah.
I didn't pick up on that one.
No, I didn't even know there were any quotes from Wizard of Oz. I haven't seen that in a while.
That's why I'm here, everyone.
Exactly. That's why you're watching this show, is to learn the,
So the Agnes she finds all, okay, so when she goes to see Dottie, because I kind of went back a little. She goes to see Dottie. Dottie's gives her lip because that's Dottie. And then Dottie finds out. We get the name of the book, which is Dialogue and Rhetoric, Known History of Learning and Debate by Andrew Ugo. I still don't know what Andrew Ugo means. So if anybody knows that, please let me know. Because it really is something that I'm like, what the heck?
Could you maybe rearrange it and it's like a demon or something?
I did it a couple of times and it got frustrated. So
Wait. Is it Wundagore?
No.
No?
No. I don't think so. It might be.
Hold on. I'm going to be doing that in the background.
Okay, he's going to be doing that in the background, everyone. So she goes to the stacks, and the stacks are all burnt. Like, every single copy has been destroyed. So it's kind of Agnes's weird way of knowing what went on in Doctor Strange and the Multiverse of Madness. And it kind of catches us up on a little bit of what's been going on with the WandaVision people.
Okay.
So a couple of things happen in Agatha's office that I don't know if she caught any of this, because I just wanted him to watch it clean first. In Agatha's office, we first see a rabbit figurine in front of a plant. Like the plant in her office. And then when it cuts back to her, it's changed to a black and white picture of a little boy in profile with the same rabbit in front of it. So the plant changes to the picture and then changes back. And that little boy in profile has dark hair. And the rabbit is a callback to Mr. Scratchy from episode 2 of WandaVision, kind of thing. Agnes' office, Agnes, has 3 glass walls and windows on the 4th, like she's in a prison or on display. And then there's a picture on the wall behind her, and it's like of a country thing. And I think after watching the whole thing, I think it's supposed to be her and her son. So.
Yes, that is Andrew Ugo is an anagram for Wundagore.
Oh, cool! You know what? I never even thought that. You are so smart. All right. She drinks out of a Get a Clue mug.
Yeah.
Mug, which I thought was hilarious. Yeah. We also see a golden goblet and an owl on the shelf behind her desk, which it's like, this is your office. And you find out, like, her later, you find out like the standing lamp that she has in there was from her house because this is all in her house. So her real mind is bleeding through is what you see. You start seeing
which is very much like what happened in WandaVision.
Yeah, because it was a flawed text. And we get the whole dirt under the fingernails from Eastern Europe. And then Rio Vidal shows up as a federal agent, and you can tell, like, you look at her, she's just looking around like, okay, we're playing this, let's play this. And so she kind of goes along with it. And then when she leaves, because they have that whole, hey, guess what? Oh, I don't like you. Get out of my office kind of thing. Well, so when Rio leaves, she says, ya ves, which can mean see you, like see you soon. It's like which they don't put in there. I did so much work on that I really didn't need to. Norm is the pawn shop owner. The cameo, we find out that it's like dated like to Salem times, and it's like a cowrie shell, which is also a very witchy thing. And it's got the triple goddess, maiden, mother, crone. It's really a reference to like the Morrigan or the triple goddess, which is very witchy.
Which is specifically a part of Wicca.
Yes.
Is the horn god and the triple goddess and all that.
Yes. Norm's tracksuit is fantastic. Agnes, she goes back to her office and she starts looking at the first letters of the name of the book. So the I can never remember the full name of it. I don't have it. Hold on. No. Dialogue and Rhetoric Known, History of Learning and Debate, which is Darkhold. So
I was wondering if that was just going to be the Darkhold.
Yeah. It's for that, and she starts like writing it out, and then as soon as she gets to the O, she stops and kind of freaks herself out. And then Bellevue shows up on the page too, which is actually a pretty famous Marvel prison. So that was kind of neat. She lives in the Bewitched house, y'all. That is the house from Bewitched.
Is it?
Yes, it's the Bewitched house. I actually already knew that because in WandaVision she also lived in it, but yeah, and they did that on purpose because Jack Schaefer is a huge Bewitched fan.
Nice.
Yeah, so she still hates dogs, which is also a Wizard of Oz reference and a callback to WandaVision. So,
Sparky too.
Yeah, right. And I put in here her home is very witchcore. So like there's all these candles and it's just like dripping like wax coming off, and I would not be able to handle that, but it looks really great on her. So she's got that. She had apparently there's in her house under this spell, she's got her son's room, and it's got Nicholas Scratch, best vocals, first place. There's like an old like Winnie the Pooh teddy bear in there. So there's a lot of references. There's rabbit figurines, different things like that. Rio comes over. She has pizza. That was really cute, like little flirty exchange that they have. I really want to know who Audrey Plaza's tailor is because that white shirt that she had on was fantastic. And they both drink Dos Equis.
Can we all just admit that Aubrey Plaza is just perfection?
Frey said I would have to fight you over that. Yeah.
Yeah, I see you guys. I said
You can fight me all you want. You'll lose that fight every time.
He said he'd win.
You can.
I did not say anything about my chances. I said we should just agree to be, in this together, and
Yeah.
So if we fight over this, you'll lose your life. I'm just.
We're not fighting over anything. We're just going
Just
to
be prepared.
to never live again.
Let's just face it, both of you would lose because Aubrey Plaza would totally be into me.
You're not wrong.
No, I'm not.
Did you see the picture that came out or the video that came out over the weekend of Elizabeth Olsen slapping Aubrey Plaza across the ass and Aubrey Plaza just giving her like the lip bite and look back at her?
No.
I've seen that before.
Oh, it's so good.
Yeah, they've known each other for a while too.
Yeah.
And so it's really cute. And I was watching the Parks and Recs, like that one. There's I think they have 1 or 2 scenes together. But I was just watching that. I was like, oh my god, this is hilarious. So I'm just glad that they had a lot of screen time because they're amazing together.
Oh yeah.
So we meet Teen, because he's going through Agatha's things,
Right.
and she
I
catches
called
him.
that shit from the first episode.
Yeah, so you did. You were right about who he was. I give you all the respect for that. And we see Mrs. Hart. So that was fun.
Sad day.
She tries to run him over with her car.
Right.
And then so Agnes takes him to the station. They do an interrogation thing, and Rio's like behind the one-way glass. It's really cool the way that they did it and how they played the whole crime procedural drama was great. I thought it was awesome. And Catherine Hahn doing it was amazing, and her hair being like so crazy. I mean, it was just like you could tell the character was barely hanging on. Like it was just like, And then there's an Edward Scissorhands reference. And I have to say that if Catherine Hahn and Joe Locke didn't have such good chemistry with each other, the show would not be as good as it is. And I mean, Aubrey Plaza is like the icing on the cake.
Oh,
but it, without
He's the icing on every cake.
without Catherine Hahn and Joe Locke and the way that they are with each other, this show would not have been what it is. So,
I agree with that.
yeah. So, and then there are some things like Teen has black tip fingers in there, and he's like, it's from the fingerprinting ink, and we're like, it's like, this isn't real. But he does have black nail polish too, so I think that's kind of the way that they're saying that his the witchiness. He asks about the road. We get the instrumental Down the Witch's Road plays. The pictures of the female victim changed to someone's front lawn, which it's actually Herb's front lawn. I said maybe Mrs. Hart, but it's actually Herb's because Mrs. Hart's front lawn is white.
Also,
she has white flowers.
Also, it's Miss Davis.
Yes, it's Sharon.
Sharon Davis.
And Rio's gone, so we don't see Rio again.
Shame.
Now the
Fucking
painting
shame.
that they're looking at is Zuccarelli's Macbeth meeting the witches from Act 4, Scene 1.
Right.
So, and then Teen starts chanting in Latin. And what did you say you thought he was saying? Because Shadu knows Latin.
I do. So I'm trying to remember what it actually was, like what the Latin was.
At first you said it was like it was just Witch's Road in Latin, right?
It definitely has road in it. I think it was... I don't actually remember what it was. It was something like safety or protection.
Okay.
Which I believe he was doing. He was
it was
in
it had Salwe in it, and that's to be safe. Yeah. So yeah.
He was doing a protection charm to try and take the shroud off.
Yeah.
Right. And I will say that the Latin throughout the entire series was pretty solid, actually, in terms of pronunciation. Really just a little bit too anglicized, but that's about it. So.
Yeah, he's
he's
a Latin gatekeeper.
I'm not a I'm just I'm a nerd about this, okay?
I know.
I'm a linguistics nerd.
Every time there's Latin in something, I'm like, well, we got to get Shadu.
I will say it's
right.
better than Supernatural.
Oh yeah.
Supernatural was terrible with Latin.
Yeah, so he was like, they couldn't summon a demon. They're not even pronouncing the words.
Yeah. You're not going to summon anything but a scholar.
To slap you in the face.
Yeah.
Anyway.
To witch slap you.
So after she decides, after the thing with Teen, she decides that she's going to put him in the holding cell overnight, right? And so she goes to the morgue. And then in the morgue, she sees, basically we just see like a sheet over a body and it has red hair. You see a little bit of red hair coming out. And she calls it Scarlet. And the way she says Scarlet is like she's like, Scarlet. Like it's that kind of thing. So I thought that was really great. That was a really good choice for acting choice for Catherine Hahn. Mm-hmm. And then you see that the toe tag is actually the checkout strip, the book checkout strip. And when she touches it, you see W. Maximoff. And the Westview branch that they have, it's really Ocean County in New Jersey.
Oh,
so
cool.
Westview may be in Ocean County, New Jersey. And from the branch number at the bottom of the strip. Yes, I looked it up. Rio is there, and she's
God,
like,
we are fucking nerds.
Yeah,
we are. That's the entire show, everyone.
And there you go. But we get an amazing like recap of all of Agnes's best looks from WandaVision. And then she it's almost like she's transforming into like a werewolf. You know how like all these things like Dr. Jekyll and Mr. Hyde and the Wolfman and all that. It's that kind of thing. That's how it looks. And I just thought it was great. I thought it was really great. It reminded me of Werewolf by Night a little. Like it's the opposite of that scene, So and then after that, Rio's gone and she's all Agatha-fied. And then you find out we see her with sunlight behind her. She's just bathed in sunlight, completely naked. She goes out the door and we see some witch ass.
It's great because I think somebody online gave her an award for being the first character in Marvel to have a bare ass scene.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Now, is this the MCU or is this Marvel in general?
I think it's all of it. Well, I don't know.
Well, no, because I'm thinking.
Did we see Daredevils?
No, I am thinking. Hugh Jackman from Days of Future Past. We see his ass.
We did actually. You know what? We did see a lot of Hugh in that one.
Yeah.
Then
we didn't see little Hugh, but we saw just about everything else.
It must have been the MCU then.
Yeah, I think it's MCU. And she makes her really uncomfortable.
Yep, which is hilarious.
I said she goes out the front door Lady Godiva style.
Yeah. No, you're not wrong.
Yeah. So we find out it's been 3 years, and I think it's actually been 3 years since the show came out too. So that's about right. Because it's been a little bit more than that. So probably 3 years when they first started filming it. And basically, and we find out that the residents of Westview don't say Wanda's name. They're like, no, we don't say that. We don't say her name.
We're trying not to say her name.
Yeah. And then Agatha's like, oh, okay, fine. So then she goes back in, finally puts a robe on. We see Mr. Scratchy. He's still there. And then she realizes that she's been kidnapped, that she's kidnapped the teen. Right. And put him in the closet. And then Rio comes in and totally obliterates her front door, which rude. And she basically, and she's like, I've missed you. You find, there's some sexual tension going on there.
Oh yeah.
Like a lot.
Sexual tension.
Yeah. And Rio's outfit in that, oh my God. I loved it.
Sorry, everything about Aubrey Plaza.
Oh yeah.
Okay, I know. You know what? I'm gonna stop talking about Aubrey Plaza because it's just basically gonna be icky for me if you guys keep saying crap like that. Anyway, I'm just kidding. I'm kidding.
Yep.
So then there's a witch fight, because witches be tripping, And
I'm sorry. Hotness aside, that scene was fucking dope. Like just
Oh yeah.
yeah,
the just kind of the way that the way she moves is very assassin like, and I fucking
Yeah.
I'm all for it.
DeLong fam cosplay says, we don't talk about Wanda. No. I guess we could change it to na. We don't talk about Wanda. Na. There you go. And the Salem 7 are mentioned. Now, in the comics, in Marvel Comics, they're the children of Nicholas Scratch and the grandchildren of Agatha. They were first introduced in Fantastic Four 186 in September of 1977.
Damn.
Yeah. And they actually play they're part of the more mystical side of Marvel Comics, or have been in the past. But in this, I think they're more just like the MacGuffin of it. Yeah. So, but it's kind of cool that they still brought a little bit more of that in.
Because they definitely don't play as big of a role as they do in the comics, but I mean, they still do play a pretty massive role.
Yeah, and they're the sense of urgency.
Yeah.
To get to the road. And I think that's their Agatha's like reasoning to get there. She realizes the teen is there, and then we fade to black with Donovan's Season of the Witch playing as the credits roll. And I'm not going over all of these, okay? If you want to, how many there are, what each thing is, whatever, I can tell you, but I'm pretty sure just knowing what happened in the whole thing, this is all from teens searching of witches and learning about witchcraft.
Yeah. And all of the music in this was great.
Absolutely. I agree.
Yeah. I mean, there's some stuff in there. Like there's some stuff they're telling us. And in the first like few episodes, I want to say like even like episode 3 too, they told us what was going to happen. They told us who everybody was in the beginning. They were not subtle with a lot of the stuff. So that's really what it is. Now, I will say this. I did not do something for every single episode because a lot of it's pretty straightforward. So episode 3 is basically, I don't know. Anyway, so that was episode 1. Episode 2 starts with teen with Agatha being like, oh, here's, Agatha going, oh crap, I got to get out of here because, the Salem 7 are going to kill me. And so she's trying to get out of there, and she's got this boy in the closet, and he's, duct taped. And so finally he hops out, also like a rabbit, hops out and asks her to take him to the Witch's Road. And she says the Witch's Road isn't real. And he says, you're lying. And she says, am I? And then... and
it's like the way she says, am I?
And then we find out that Teen has a sigil on him. We don't know we don't know it's technically a sigil yet, but when he tries to say his name, it looks like there's somebody has written something on him instead, which is also kind of an Edward Scissorhandsy thing too.
Right.
Because that's like they had sewn his, if you sew somebody's thing up, and that's a and
that's kind of a Multiverse of Madness reference a little bit too with what Wanda was doing.
Yes, yeah. So lots of referencey things in there. And is it an M and W? Maybe. So there are a lot of red herrings that they go through, and you're like, oh, okay, all right.
That's okay.
Like, oh, that's what that meant. When I went a little too much into the whole witchiness of it, and was like, well, in ancient times, this, the rat is a death symbol. And I was like, no, I can't do that. So I actually threw all that out and realized, no, this is just Marvel stuff. So because all of the we see a crow, we see a rat, we see a wolf, we see like a fox. Those are all the Salem.
And there's
7.
a snake too, I think, isn't
Yeah,
there?
there's a snake. Those are all the Salem 7.
Yeah.
They're just shape changers, shapeshifters.
Wargs, they're wargs. They're warging.
Yes, they're wargs. So, but yeah, so that was it. Like that was what happened there. But so anyway, so they decide. Teen convinces her that they should do this, and so she's like, well, we need a coven. Let's go get a coven. So they go to get a coven. The first one they go to is Lilia Calderu. And that scene is hilarious.
It's so good.
Which, by the way, fucking masterful performance. If we talk about her performance through the entire show,
yes,
fucking masterclass.
Oh yeah, no, I honestly, as soon as it was over, I was like, she deserves Best Supporting Actress in a Comedy.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
She needs an Emmy. And and then there's also like with Penguin, I was like,
his mom. Yes.
Yes, she needs an Emmy.
She needs something too.
Yeah, she needs an Emmy. So anyway, but we're getting off topic there. So they go to see Lilia, and she's like, ooh, and she's like her crystal ball and stuff. And then afterwards, after they pay, she's like, so when you get the bill, it'll say Lilia's leggings. That's my side hustle. And I just love that. I think that was one of my favorite things of that whole episode. And she goes, that was my side hustle.
I loved how much they played into like witch cliche.
Yes, yeah.
And then you find out that they're actual witches, and it's like, oh shit.
Right.
Yeah. I mean, it's and the whole thing with. Go ahead.
Sorry, and then she's the one talking about the appropriation of our culture and everything. It's great.
She's all about that. She's just bitches about it the whole time.
Yeah.
When the one thing I wanted to talk about, I totally forgot about. That how Tina's like, yeah, I'm a total fan of yours. And, when I started looking at your Salem days, and he's like, and he makes an eras reference, like a Taylor Swift reference. Like, it's my favorite You era. And she's like, yeah, that was a good one. And I just thought that was funny. The first thing we hear about, like what you get at the end of the Witch's Road, they talk about that too. Like what's missing awaits you at the end.
Right.
And so that's a really interesting thing. And they all get what they wanted.
Yeah. They do.
So Agatha.
Is that as you get deeper into the show, and we'll discuss this later, but I mean, like, God, it's a trip considering like what the Witch's Road actually was to what he ended up. Mm-hmm. I'm not gonna spoil. Let's continue.
So anyway, and here's the thing: like I watched it the first time, and then I went back and watched it again, and like probably the next day or the day after. And when you watch it a second time, it is a different show.
It is.
Then the third time I watched it, again I found more stuff. And then I watched it a fourth time with Shadu. And I was like, oh, crap. I totally forgot that reference. I didn't get that reference the first 3 times. So it is it's a rewatchable show.
Yeah.
Mm. So it's so really cool.
There's so much. It's so well written. There's so many Easter eggs throughout the entire show that are referencing itself. Like,
Yeah.
It's like, if you know what to look for, you know what's coming the entire show.
Well, once you get all of the major big things that happen, going back and looking at it again, you start to see the little hints of it. And it's neat. So if you guys watched it and haven't watched it again, please go back and watch it a second time. And I'm not saying that because Disney pays me or anything, because they don't. I wish they did.
Right,
But
yeah.
Want to start paying us?
yeah.
Yeah, I was gonna say, yeah, well, you know.
But so another thing, and I thought this might be fun for Phil, is when Teen says his name and we see the sigil, and he doesn't know it. He doesn't know that he's under this.
Right.
Agatha comes closer to him and says, "Say again," which is how the military asks for a phrase to be repeated in radio communications. Because if you say repeat, they're just going to keep bombing the place.
Right. Call for fire.
Yeah, there's a call for fire. So I thought that was kind of neat. And also, it's probably more of a reference to olden times, like Salemite times.
Mm-hmm.
Because they would say something like that, you know, please say again or something like that. They wouldn't say repeat because that's more of a newer term, I guess. Right. All right. So, and Agatha trying to drive the car. That's not a car. And the Fruit Loops and the Apple Jacks are her pedals. That was really funny.
Okay. No, let's just get up.
Yeah. She was like, all right. The graffiti on Wanda's house, on wall of the foundations of Wanda's house, and it says evil witch and has the headdress and it's marked out and stuff. And that she spits in its general direction because she does not like Wanda.
Right.
The Teen drives a Subaru. Just putting that in there. It has pearls.
As a teenage something gay joke, something.
Right. And then his boyfriend calls on the phone and the ringtone is On My Mind by Black Hand.
Oh.
Just like I went a little far, and then I went, I can't go this deep anymore. So
you know what I do love is they didn't try to change the character at all. Like, you know, there's a lot of complaints online because as you always will have, but it's kind of like, oh, Disney trying to be woke and wanting to make him gay. Like, you do know that he's gay in the comics, right?
Yeah,
very gay.
He's like really gay in the comics.
Yeah.
Like a real gay. And actually the Jack Schaefer wanted to make Eddie Teddy being Hulkling. And that was the only thing Marvel said no to.
I saw the reference to that, and everybody was saying like, "Oh wait, did we just get Hulkling?" And I'm like, I don't think he actually is Hulkling in this.
Yeah, I think we'll probably get Hulkling, but I don't think we're going to get it this way. I think we're going to get it another way.
Yeah.
We learn about the Covenstead rule. With any 3-mile radius, there will be a collection of witchy enough people to form a coven. I really liked that exposition because I felt the exposition a lot of the times in the show was very organic.
Yeah, it was very weaved into everything else.
Yeah, it wasn't like, hey, here's the exposition scene.
Right.
It was actually, well,
I'm going to do a lecture about the lore of our world here. Yeah.
Welcome to my witch talk.
Holy exposition, Batman.
Right, exactly. So the crystal ball in the shop is just like huge. I would love to have a crystal ball that big. But anyway, and it reminded me of the Haunted Mansion, the head in the Haunted Mansion.
Yeah, I did.
Yeah. So
Madam
Calderoo.
No, but I'm saying from
I don't know what it is. Madam.
Madam.
Look it up. Look it up, teen.
Yes, Madam, look it up.
You.
No, he's saying Shadu, you're the teen. Look it up.
Look it up, teen.
What is it? The head in Haunted Mansion?
Just put crystal ball head Haunted Mansion. The story that they give Lilia about the gold bars.
Madam Leo. Yeah, literally as it loaded, you said it.
Okay, thanks, second teen.
Okay.
But so Lilia is like, you know, she goes along with it, and then she's like, "Well, I can tell you some other stuff," and then she's like, dead on what happened to Agatha. And I was like, witch, please, you know? And then they try to talk Lilia into coming on the Witch's Road, and she's like, you know, beat it, Harkness, which I thought was hilarious.
Yeah.
You know, like the way that she talks to Agatha throughout the whole series is hilarious, because it's just like nobody really talks to Agatha that way. You know what I mean? Like, she's the one that's always in control and knows everything. And Lilia's like, you don't know anything. Get out of here, you know.
Beat it.
Right, yeah. And then Agatha confirms that babies are delicious. And
yeah, you know,
of course she does. Lilia's apartment, which I think they did this as a tongue-in-cheek thing, but there's actually a broom head and a dustpan right next to the back door. That's funny. Which is also a common witch thing to keep evil spirits out. It obviously didn't work because Agatha's there.
Right. And of course that is a, part of the commercialization of witch culture.
Of Halloween.
Of Halloween, right. Yeah.
Yeah. And then Agatha tells Lilia that the only way that she can steal someone's powers is if they actually blast her with them.
If they attack, right.
Yeah, and I thought that was really interesting. I'm not sure why she did that. I don't know if it was like her telling, it's one of those where does Agatha feel like she could actually like really annoy someone that it doesn't matter if they know that or not, and they're still going to attack her with their powers? But
well, clearly.
Yeah. Then Lilia starts automatic writing or psychographic writing.
Yeah.
And produces 4 names, including her own, for Agatha's coven, and says 3 of Pentacles, which is a tarot card. The 3 of Pentacles is can mean like a successful. The 3 cards are successes, so it means that there's a successful achievement of all requirements to pursue your business, deal, venture, any other kind of endeavor. Successful projects usually require different kinds of expertise, and so that means that skills are coming together, but you have to have different people. So it's very much a coven thing. You know, they need a divination witch. They need a potions witch. They need a green witch. They need a protection witch. So
and apparently a chaos witch.
Yes. So the names are Agatha Harkness, Lilia Calderoo, Jennifer Kale, and Alice Wu Gulliver. And then there's a Black Heart. And in the first episode, Rio says, Agatha says, you have no heart. And Rio says, I do. It's black and it beats for you. So our first initial thing is that's gotta be Rio.
Yeah.
Right? Okay. Outside the shop, Agatha sees a crow. It's a reference to the Salem 7. They go to Jennifer Kale's candle shop, which, oh my God, I worked at a aromatherapy shop. And I was having like flashbacks to working at an aromatherapy shop during that whole scene. And her name's Jennifer. So I was having a lot of like weird, like, oh God, deja vu. And I said that, she sells edible candles. And I said, this could be a Gwyneth Paltrow reference and her goop merchandise. So I think that's what it's supposed to be. And her line of products is Kale Care, and I just thought that was hilarious. So
now, also for all you nerds out there that don't know who Jennifer Kale is, that is Ghost Rider's cousin.
Yes, Johnny Blaze's cousin, and she's also a very powerful witch. Like she's not a Nexus being, but she's just right below a Nexus being. She's super powerful. She helps Man Thing keep ecosystems together and stuff.
Yeah,
very much.
Right. At the point she's introduced in the show, she's
been bound for the last century.
Right. So she basically can't use her powers.
Right. She also calls Agatha a witch killer, and they get really catty. And then Teen talks about her legal troubles and invites her to Agatha's place. And that's kind of the first time you realize that Teen actually is a little bit sneakier than we think. Because before that,
he does just straight up blackmail her. So,
Yeah, he's but before that, he's like this wide-eyed teen. He's this boy, la la la, and then you see that and you're like, whoa, he's got depth. So I really like that. a lot of Kegel and pelvic floor comments. So, there's that. Ladies, protect your pelvic floor.
God.
Hey.
That I don't know how Disney friendly that joke is, but at the same time, we did see Agatha's ass in this, so
yeah.
We already knew this was going to be like a female empowerment inappropriate show, so love to see the branding match the content. So then Teen asks Agatha to see the list, so she eats it because she's a toddler, and she doesn't want him to see the list for some reason, and I think it's that whole black heart thing, which means Agatha probably thinks it's Rio as well.
Yeah.
We get an explanation of what a blood witch is. It's the child of a witch. Alice Wu Gulliver is the child of the famous singer who did a rendition of the Ballad of the Witches Road, and she works security for Hot Topic.
Which again, very witchy.
Yeah. And we see Hot Topic in the background while Agatha is eating a corn dog, which I never thought watching someone eating a corn dog would be that chaotic. But it was. We see a rat. That's another reference to the Salem 7. We find out that Teen works at the Hokey Pokey Bowl, which is a callback to Lilia telling Agatha and Teen about gold bars being in a bowling bag because it's a bowling alley. So there you go. Agatha notices. I already said that. We get more backstory on Alice's mom, Lorna Wu. That like the rumors are that she was stuck on she got lost on the Witch's Road. Agatha makes
once we find out everything that happens, technically.
Yeah.
Technically, she did. Yeah.
Agatha makes Teen shoplift, and then we get another Wizard of Oz reference when she calls him her Toto. This is Toto.
Yeah.
Introducing him to Alice. They set off back to Agatha's place. Then Agatha is curious about how hidden he is. And so she asks him where he's from, and that starts this weird little thing where she can hear everything except what he's telling her.
Yeah.
And the song that she plays on the radio is There's a Road by Kenny. Once back at the house, they still don't have a door. There isn't, it's just right there.
Yep.
And we see Agatha in all of her witch attire. Cameo visible on a chain around her neck. We hear a wolf howl, and then she spots it. Again, another Salem 7 reference. And when Agatha spins around to go back into the house, she actually does the Wicked Witch of the West's move with her long coat. And she does that throughout the whole series. So it's very much a thing. Teen makes a fun sign to welcome the coven, but Agatha tears it down. And the W is the only thing left. W for Wanda. Or Witch, I guess. Either one. I said, and the amount of candle wax on the fireplace mantle is totally witchcore. So the witches gather. Jennifer Kale gets there first, and then Lilia comes in. And as soon as she turns to look at Jennifer, she says, she calls her the High Priestess. And that could be the tarot card of the same name. She's very powerful. I have it here. She's very powerful, and she was once a member of the Midnight Suns because she's Johnny Blaze's cousin. And she actually was. I looked it up. She was part of the Midnight Suns. So that's.
I wonder if that could factor in at some point.
I think so. I think we're gonna see her again. Obviously.
Oh yeah, definitely.
They talk about not having a green witch. Lilia says it wasn't a name. It was a heart, a black heart. And Rio also says she has a black heart. So we think that's it. Anyway, Agatha goes and gets Mrs. Hart, who's really Sharon Davis. Sharon. And we hear her husband passed away. And that's a reference to the episode 1 of WandaVision, with him almost dying during the boss's dinner.
Right.
Sharon gardens and thinks the party will be fun. So they go to Agatha's basement. She tells Teen that they have to conjure the road, not drive to it. And throughout that, like the whole thing, when he's asking her all the questions, well, how do we get there? How long does it take? And all that. And you can just see the annoying. She's so annoyed by him during that whole thing. Like, just shut up.
Yeah.
Just shut up and let me do my thing. She sends him off, like up to the top floor. And I was like, why would she do that? Like, if you're going to conjure the road, wouldn't you want everybody, many hands kind of thing? So he goes back up to the ground floor and grabs Mr. Scratchy. And that bunny, oh my God, is just so cute. Oh, yeah. Cutest bunny. And then I said that he goes and he looks out at goes outside and looks out, and he sees the Salem 7, and they look like Bene Gesserit.
Yeah, they
do.
They totally do. And the way they did that was really cool. I loved the way they did that whole scene. It was just really neat. And the way Herb was like, he's there with his groceries, and you see one, and he turns around and he goes, "Are you seeing this?" And then it's 7. He goes, "Oh God!" And he just drops his groceries and leaves. I was like, he's unsung. That man's unsung. Some of the crap that they had, that town has to see. I'm surprised that they aren't just like burning everything down.
Right. But, everyone hasn't moved out. Yeah.
Right. So, and then we cut back to Agatha and all the other, the ladies, the coven, down under, like in her basement. And in her basement at the center of it, it's like a 5-sided, like pentagon, pentagram, pentacle, whatever. And they're there and they start singing the Ballad of the Witch's Road. And, she starts it with this bell and like a, what do they call that? A chime thing in it. Anyway.
Which I have had that song stuck in my head for the last.
Right. It is. It's like an earworm. Anyway,
so good.
The Salem 7 come, they're getting closer and the song's going and they're getting closer and the song's going, they're getting closer. So that's our sense of urgency. And they complete the whole song. And then you hear Agatha, she's like, it didn't take this long last time. I don't even want you guys to be there. I don't want your mediocrity, and all this stuff. And it's just like, okay, so you see that they're kind of arguing. And then Sharon goes, "What's that?" And so you see a door appear in the same shape that was there in, like, I don't know, what is it? A slab. And they open it up. And as they open it up, Teen comes down and he's like, Is this it? Okay. And he just goes right on in. And then all the rest of them go in. And so Agatha goes in last and she closes the door. And as because she can see the Salem 7. And as she closes the door, it kind of just like disappears, and instead of it being a door, it's just like the stairs go to nowhere. Yeah, like in the Winchester house. And then it's like the stairwell's lit like a ambient light, and it's kind of a bluish ambient light.
It's got kind of the glowing roots and all of that.
Yeah, like glowing roots. Because everything was done practically, so all the effects were practical. Or as much of them as they could do practically. And I said that, in my opinion, the stairwell's a little too Disneyland park ride for me, but I understand the concept and the practical effects of it all. So I was like, wow, this is kind of like we're in, what was it? I don't think it's that anymore. The log ride in Disneyland.
Oh,
used to be Song and South.
Right. God, what is it called? Well, now it's Princess and the Frog.
Yeah, I knew they had changed it. Though.
Yeah, but it used to be Splash Mountain.
Yeah.
Mr. Scratchy's cage in the basement is different than the one that Agnes gives to Wanda in episode 2 of WandaVision. Just FYI on I also said we see one of the 7 coming down the stairs to the basement like the girl in the ring. Another reference.
Yeah.
We see the road. So the road itself has has blue leaves, but it's very much like the yellow brick road in The Wizard of Oz. Because how it winds and how it looks and everything.
Right.
Yeah.
And then they all remove their shoes, which is common for outdoor rituals and witchcraft. And so that's probably the reference. And then they start down the road towards a full moon. And then the credits are the same as the first one. So that's really it. I do think that there are a lot of Wizard of Oz references.
Mm-hmm.
So, yeah. And then for the first trial, it's Jennifer's trial. It's a potions trial. And so that's where we start episode 3. And Teen is like, oh man, this is exactly how I pictured it, and all this stuff. And Agatha's like,
of course it was, Teen. Of course
she's like, yeah, isn't it though? Kind of thing. So in her own Agatha way. And the rest, so now that they're on the road, the other witches are like, hey, Jennifer and Lilia and Alice are like, what is your name? And so he tries to tell him, and then they find out that he's got a sigil, right?
Oh, he's got a sigil.
Yeah, I think Lilia is the one that she says, that boy has a sigil on him.
It would,
and yeah, and it's so interesting. So, because we find out later some stuff. And then they, basically it's just like Teen's like comments I love them. And they're so like what a like teen witch would say. The whole like, oh, is this like perpetual night as a vibe? I was just like, oh my God, this is amazing. So anyway, Agatha's like, hey guys, we got to focus. Let's focus up here, people. And so she goes through and tells everybody, hey, you want your powers returned to Jennifer. You want to be unbound. Lilia wants to reverse her fortune. Alice wants to find out what happened to her mom. And then she goes to Sharon and she goes in and she's like, where'd she go? So, and Sharon Davis, aka Mrs. Hart, has left. She is trying to find a way out of the Witch's Road. She doesn't.
The only one in there that's not a witch.
Yes,
right?
and she even says, this is a kidnapping. I mean, it was hilarious. I just loved her in that. Yeah. So she kind of goes off on her own. So then she goes to sit somewhere because she's just had it. She's just done. And she puts her bag down, and then her bag kind of like gets quicksanded.
Starts to kind of like sink into the mud. And
and she's like, this is from Talbot. And
great.
It's just great. And then Alice saves her. And as a protection witch, Alice, that's her thing. She protects people. So she did save Sharon from it. And then they go through back, hey, don't step off the road. I didn't think, that kind of thing. It's just like, let's just focus on the song. And, the song is our guide kind of thing. So, and Sharon's just like, I'm not walking another step till we find out what's going on. And then Jen turns to see that there's a house, a blue house, and it's a beach house. And they all go there. And it's basically, it's a similar setting to Big Little Lies. And I think, what do they call them? Huge Tiny Lies?
Tiny Lies, yeah.
Huge Tiny Lies in the show.
It's got like a Desperate Housewives vibe too.
Yeah,
so,
like a White Lotus, that kind of,
right.
Very entitled, uber rich beach house kind of thing. And then the door has the phases of the moon on it, and it's in the water phase, which is a full moon. And they walk through the door and they're all changed. Like they all have different outfits on. It's changed for that. It's very much the, bored housewife that's really too wealthy for her own good. And then basically they go through the first trial.
I was gonna say that's the housewife we all want to be.
Exactly. Well, without the, poison. But yeah.
Oh yeah.
So basically they're stuck in the house. So when they get into the house, there's no doorknobs on the inside, so they can't get out. So they're kind of trapped. They get an invitation that basically is welcome to the first trial and all that stuff. And then it gives them kind of a riddle. And Sharon figures the riddle out, but she doesn't figure the riddle out. There's just wine. And so she's like, wine. And, she's had a hard day, so she wants some wine.
Yeah.
So
it's fair.
And the brand of the wine is the same as the brand I think it's in WandaVision. That Raina. Oh. Yeah. And so then they're like, hey, we need a corkscrew. Teen says, hey, there's built-in bar. I'll go get one. And Jen goes with him. And then we get a Mephisto reference. And Jen talks about Nicholas Scratch saying that Agatha gave her child away to get the Darkhold. And that's what people say. And but she does, but nobody really knows what happened. And so then
fucking sad.
She mentions that maybe maybe Nick's an agent of Mephisto. He could be dead. He could be a demon. Like, there's all these speculations of what's going on. So, which I think is really interesting because in the comics, like Billy and Tommy are like, their soul is from Mephisto. So, I mean, I don't know if they're going to continue doing that since Wanda created them, but who knows?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Wanda is connected some way to Mephisto as well, right?
Right. And it also
Darkhold was created by Mephisto.
So. Well, I mean, yeah.
Well, it was Kython.
Well, yeah.
That created it. But yeah, I mean, they're all like cousins. It's like a whole family thing. Anyway, so and that kind of also gives us a little bit more of is Teen Agatha's son? Is it, is he Wanda's son? Who is Teen? Right? So
is he Midnight Sun? Oh.
Is he Midnight Sun? Is he the next Ghost Rider? No. But then we also find out that Sharon drinks she just downs that wine and then gets herself another glass. And you know what? I've had days like that. So I appreciate Sharon. Then they go to the living room and start talking, and a timer has started as soon as they start drinking the wine. Teen and Alice bond over what happened to them at 13. We find out a little bit more about what happened to Alice. She has this protection tattoo on her. And that, she talks about it, that happened at Red Rocks in Colorado because her mom was playing there. And and Teen says, well, a lot of stuff happened to me at 13 too.
And we do not know what that means yet.
Yeah, we don't know.
But we will.
Yeah. And then Sharon's like, hey, so you guys are witches. So what actually is a witch? So we kind of get a little bit more exposition about what witches are. And Lilia's like, oh my God, we are not a monolith. And she was like, do you see any pointy hats here? Do you see any brooms? And so just such sassiness. I love Lilia. And Sharon says, she's like, I don't know if I, want to be a witch, but I would drink the blood of a virgin to get rid of these wrinkles.
Right. And she says witch is just another it's just another word for bad girl, right?
Right. Just another way to say bad girl. And so that happens, but when she turns back around, she looks like she's had the worst plastic surgery you could ever have in your life.
Which is is yet another reference to, all of the Desperate Housewives kind of thing and whatever.
And then and that's when Jen realizes that they've been poisoned. And Agatha didn't drink her wine because, of course, she didn't. And
we do see it kind of fill up, too.
Yeah, we see it fill back up, which was also very cool. Yeah. And then, and so then, they're like, okay, right, whatever. And then they all get it, except Agatha and Teen, because Teen's not old enough to drink, so they don't let him drink. And
very lawful witches.
Yeah, but I mean, you know what? Them not doing that actually saves them later.
Yeah.
So
Exactly.
so then they're all kind of freaking out about it because like they're huge. Alice says, "I've got jowls," and I was like, "Sister, I understand that reference." And so they're just like going and going. And then in the middle of all of it, Lilia just looks at them all with her puppy face. And she's like, "I don't hate it," but she says, "I love you guys," just like out of the middle of everything. I swear, I thought they looked like after the fourth time, I was like, I swear they look like Muppets.
They
totally
do.
looked like Muppets.
They do.
And
Very, very unflattering, like Kim Kardashian Muppets.
No, it's a Miss Piggy reference because Miss Piggy's owned by Disney now. So
yeah,
Right.
there you go. And so then
Miss Piggy's owned by no one. Oh,
Disney's owned by no one. Yeah. So and then the swelling goes down immediately because the joke's over.
Right.
And
Yes,
so then
the poison has great comedic timing.
Yes. Very good timing, that poison, which is called Alewife's poison.
Alewife's Revenge.
Alewife's Revenge. That's it. And Agatha starts to panic because she's like, "Oh, you got to get me out of here." She tries to break a window. They stop her. And then they realize she didn't drink the thing. Teen's like, "She didn't drink her wine." And she's like, "I'm not gonna." So she smashes it. And Sharon's like, "On the upholstery." It's just hilarious. And then they all threaten her to drink it. And then she drinks it, but only after Teen says he'll drink it instead. And so Jen talks about all the like different symptoms or hallucinations. You get real, your heart races, you get really warm, all these different things. And she compiles an ingredients list. Teen and Alice partner up to get one of the ingredients, of frankincense. Lilia and Agatha team up to get sea plankton, petroleum, and they move through the house, and each has an hallucination. Alice's hallucination, she sees her mom at a dressing room mirrored table with a really cool lighter. That lighter was so cool. And she's lighting it over and over again. She's a fire witch, just like Alice is. They're fire witches.
Which I do think it's interesting that fire is protection.
Well, yeah, fire is protection.
No, I just think it's a really interesting detail.
Yeah,
So.
no, yeah. I do too. I thought that was
like
really
like they're all elemental, but it's also specifically what those elements denote.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Well, it's just fire. She's just more attuned to fire.
Yeah.
And just like Jen's more attuned to water because of the potions.
Right, that's what I'm saying. It's kind of having that be in conjunction is just a really cool detail.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, absolutely. I loved it.
I'm just complimenting the world building.
Calling the corners, everybody. Let's call the corners. And then it's basically just telling us Alice's backstory. Like her mom is like, "Hey, there's a curse and your grandmother died and I felt it. Now it's my turn. And then it'll be your turn and I can't protect you." And that's kind of what we see. And then Lilia's she's the divination witch. So she's air, but she sees a girl in an Italian medieval dress and she follows her down the hall and the house becomes darker until she sees what looks like a decrepit corpse and death behind the seated corpse. And like the corpse's eyes open. And to me, that was such an unsettling, spooky scene.
Yeah, that was one of the most kind of horror inspired things throughout the whole show, really.
Yeah, it reminded me of one of the Warren things. Oh, maybe not like Insidious, not Insidious, but like The Witch or The Nun. It reminded me of that. Anyway, that
It would be really funny if it was based off The Witch. That's funny.
Yeah. And then Jen sees a man in Victorian surgical scrubs who says she's an inconvenient woman, and he tries to drown her.
Yeah.
So there's that, and
darkness.
Yeah. And then and so then they all get back. As they're coming back, though, Lilia says, "Try to save Agatha." Like she just blurts it out. And then it surprises Agatha, but she's on board for that. And Alice and Teen get the frankincense, and they come back. Jen decides to use the kitchen sink as the cauldron. She gets honey and mustard seed, which they need because they need the they need. I can't remember what they said.
It's like the
social
body or the secretion of a eusocial insect or something.
Yes, yeah. And then the other thing is the mustard seed is eye of newt. Yeah. And they gather the ingredients after most of the hallucinations are done, and they bring. So at this time, because Sharon's hallucination was basically the first episode of WandaVision during the dinner, and so I didn't want to go over that again because you guys have seen it, and she passes.
And if you haven't seen it, why are you watching this show?
But so she passes out, and they take her into the kitchen and lay her on the table. And she had said, like, she went into the kitchen first, and she had said, "Bury me in that kitchen." So.
Oh wow!
And,
I did not pay attention to that.
Foreshadowing.
Mm-hmm. And so, as they're trying to gather everything to get to the kitchen, they hear some creaking. And so they look, and like there's this whole back wall is where Agatha's trying to get out. She like cracked a window in it. Is all blue, and you see it, and it looks like they're underwater, and there's water coming in, and they realize it's salt water, so they're under the water. They're like submerged. And so they go to the kitchen, they get everything together, they put everything in, they all start kind of like not being able to use their hands and stuff. And Agatha has her hallucination, and it's a cradle, and you hear a child crying. And when she goes to see it, and she lifts off the covers, it's the Darkhold.
Yeah.
And she kind of like does the horror thing. And they get her back. They put their hair in. They don't put Sharon's hair in. And they find a way to make it bubble. They get it where it needs to go. They need the blood of the unpoisoned. So Teen gives his blood. They drink it. They have Sharon drink it. And the oven door opens. And Lilia's like, I am not getting in there because I had a friend who also had a lovely house, by the way. And these two children, she's basically talking about the witch
Hansel
and Gretel.
Hansel and Gretel. It immediately is great.
Yeah. So, and she's like, I am not getting in there. And so then all of the windows burst and water starts rushing in. And they all make it out. They all like, no, we're going to go ahead and go out. And they all go out. And Alice is last. Again, protection witch.
Yeah.
Everybody else goes first. She's the last to go, so she's protecting everyone. So after they get out, it's basically a water slide. They go down a water slide, and you get to see them go down this water slide. But as they go out, the leaves have changed colors. They're now orange or red, like both of those colors.
Yeah.
I think there's some yellow in there too, but yeah. And
so fire.
Yeah, and then Agatha's like, well, we survived, and they're like, no, all of us didn't survive because Sharon has died.
Yeah.
And they go, well, Sharon didn't make it, and Agatha does not remember that who Sharon is. She's like, who? And that ends that episode. So that was the first trial. So by the third episode, anything goes.
Yep.
Anything goes. So
yeah, because you have characters that you've already gotten attached to dying in the first episode.
Yeah.
So they're not going to pull any punches.
Right. And so I thought that was really interesting. As far as that went, I thought, well, that's kind of cool. And we all kind of knew Sharon probably wasn't going to make it through.
In fact,
the
I
whole
think
thing.
I said, as I was watching it, it's like, she's going to be the first one to die.
And you were right.
It's not a witch, so I mean, that makes the most sense.
Yeah.
So, and then the next episode, so episode 4, hold on, let me get thing up here because I don't have one for that. So let's see. Oh,
And that's fine. We're probably going to hit a stopping point here in a second, anyways.
yeah, we can do the rest after that. But so episode 4 though is basically it's all like each episode is the different lines from
is it a lyric from Ballad of the Witches?
The Ballad of the Witches Road. Yeah, so and let me see here. Let me see. I just wanted a list of what it was. Here we go.
Which I will say in terms of expectation, I don't know if this was speculation or they said this or whatever, that each of the titles they did for, like before we knew it was Agatha all along, each of the titles was going to be an episode title.
Yeah, that's what I thought too.
But no, it was just
a swerve.
So, I mean, the first one was obviously because first or the title of the crime drama or whatever was Agatha of Westview or Agnes of Westview. Yeah.
And episode 3 was called Through Many Miles of Tricks and Trials, and then episode 4 is If I Can't Reach You, Let My Song Teach You, which is in the Lorna Wu version. And that's basically the musical episode.
Yep.
So
and it was amazing.
It was really good. I do love that one a lot. But they
had really good outfits in that episode.
Oh yeah. Total like
fucking wardrobe was amazing in that episode.
Total hair band.
Throughout the whole series was pretty amazing.
Yeah. It was very much, you remember the band The Darkness? The thing called Love, the video, the thing called Love.
I am a fan of The Darkness. Yes, I do.
Yeah. It reminded me of that song. Like, it reminded me of that, like, because they all kind of had similar things like that on. Anyway, so they bury Sharon, and they summon a replacement Green Witch, and the replacement Green Witch is Rio.
Because of course it is.
Yeah. And the whole summoning thing was really funny because what they asked for, it was like, Lily is like taking it super seriously, and she's like, someone that is the best at her craft. And then Agatha's like, someone she says something, and then she's like, and isn't annoying and not too political.
Yeah. Which like, again is hilarious for Aubrey Plaza, but
right. And then Jen's like, I hope she's may she be pretty. I was just like, what the fuck? And then
described everything about Aubrey Plaza that everybody loves.
Yep.
Right. And then Alice says, can she bring some Advil? She puts it down. So I was just like, okay, great. And so they do that, but it was so funny. I was just like, okay, this is really funny. But that is also that's a Sleeping Beauty reference, if you guys didn't know that. Because all of the fairies that come, they all bestow something on Aurora. Mm-hmm. And may she be beautiful, maybe she be smart, that kind of stuff. And so that just gave me Sleeping Beauty vibes. And then it's and then Rio comes, and Rio's kind of the Maleficent of it, right?
Right.
You didn't invite me, but I'm here.
And I love the way she emerges. She just comes out of the ground, and they all start freaking out.
Mm-hmm. Oh yeah. They're all like, what did you do? Oh my God, she's a zombie. Like, it was just like, they didn't know what to do. And then, so afterwards, like, you see Agatha, and Agatha's like, they hold her back because she's like, no, she's wanting to scratch her eyes out and everything. Like, it's definitely a bad breakup.
Yeah.
And then so Agatha's like, fine. So she leaves. She goes off into the road, and the teen goes with her, and he's like, are we in trouble? Like, is this a thing? Are we gonna have to, like, are we okay? And Agatha is like, just whatever, I don't want to talk about it. And so Rio and Alice and Lilia and Jen are all talking, and they're like, hi, kind of like that whole, like, when your friends meet other people's friends and they're trying to get along kind of thing. And Rio's like, so this is the Witches Road, huh? Okay. And then you see her kind of like skip off, and that is a Wizard of Oz reference, because she's doing the Wizard of Oz dance when all of them are there. They have the Cowardly Lion, the Tin Man, and the Scarecrow, and they all do that little dance. Anyway, so that's another Wizard of Oz reference. And so she goes through it, and Rio says that she's not a Green Witch, she's the Green Witch.
Which again, you don't understand until a couple episodes later, but it makes a lot of sense.
Yeah. Like I said, they told us who they were without telling us who they were.
Right.
Exactly.
And so then they make it to the next trial, and the next trial is this like very LA house, like on a hill, like very LA, and the door on this one is also moon, but it's in the fire phase.
Not to interrupt here, I did also notice that all of the, I think, or well, maybe not all of it, but most of the like landscape shots or whatever were matte paintings.
Yeah.
Too, and it's all very, because it's all very practical, and then you know, all of that. It really kind of gives it a Wizard of Oz vibe to it.
Yeah, it really does. I definitely, the practical effects department deserves awards as well.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, it's all matte painting. Everything, you know, the road is there. Obviously, you know, knowing without the suspension of disbelief, we know it's all the same road, and they just dress it differently.
They just swapped out, right?
Yeah,
and
swapped
obviously
out.
this is inside of the volume too.
Yeah, well,
but
yeah.
again, that almost lends a sort of kind of, you know, retro feel to it or whatever.
Yeah,
right.
Absolutely. So they go basically. Alice is like, I'm not going in there, and so the road just keeps putting the house no matter where she turns, and she's like, damn it. So she has to go. But it's the fire phase, so we know it's Alice's.
It's Alice's phase, right?
It's Alice's trial.
I'm sure the house is something that is like it's like maybe her mom's house that she grew up in.
Yeah, I think it's actually supposed to be like the recording studio that her mom used.
Yeah, I mean, it'd still be their house, because I mean, if she
right.
Most artists have studios in their houses, so
yeah, have home studios. Yeah, absolutely. But I'm just saying, like, I think that it's definitely something like that. You could definitely tell that Alice was like, I know this house. I don't want to go here. Screw you guys. Right. And so she goes in, and they all go in, and they find out that she's under a curse.
Yep.
And it's a generational curse, and like, so stuff happens. You know, Jen gets scarred, Lilia gets scarred. I think Agatha gets scarred as well.
Yeah. But it kind of just like goes through it or whatever.
Yeah, and Teen gets, you know, thrown through the producer's window, like where you mix it and everything. And Agatha like cons Rio into telling her what exactly is going to happen.
Right, it's like, very flirtatious. It's great.
Yeah. And then,
the outfit that she's wearing just ruffles Jimmy's. All right.
And Rio's whole what happens next, like that kind of stuff, and then she's reading the paper through part of it, and she's like, it's the curse. And I was just like, oh my god, Aubrey Plaza, you're amazing. So it's very 70s aesthetic, and they've got like the cool like band stuff on, and I would totally love to wear any of those outfits. I'm just saying. So anyway, so they get to this, they realize, you know, they've left Teen alone, and he finds out that it's a song, and they're like, well, why did you play it? And he holds up the, like, you know, the sleeve, and it says play me, and you can see Alice's face right in the middle of it. It's got like a
right, the kind of rack focus.
I thought that was great. And it's played backwards, so they're all in on this curse now. And
right, which is of course a backmasking reference. That's
right.
If you didn't know that.
Yeah, I did. But yeah.
Well, I'm saying the fine people we have watching the show currently.
Yes. If you guys didn't know that, it's a big thing. It's also
Then-
like a Beatles reference because they said like one of their albums, what was it, the White Album? If you play it backwards or something, like there was like a thing about that. Anyway,
It was
and that
the
was in
whole
the
Paul's
70s.
dead conspiracy or whatever.
Yes, and that he had been replaced by somebody.
Yeah.
Anyway, which is also
We're all
another
nerds.
reference to
Yeah.
anyway.
Again,
too deep.
we're all nerds here about
Give it
various
too
different
deep.
things.
Right.
So they play the song. They play Lorna's version because that was the song that was playing backwards. And so they had to play that song forwards to break the curse. And so then we get to hear them all play this, rock ballad
Yeah.
version.
Again, it was me, and Agatha just immediately got into it.
Yeah. And she sings it. She starts every version of the song.
Yep.
So
Well, not
There,
every version technically, but
there's reasoning
we'll
for
get
it
there.
later
Yeah.
on. As we get further down to the show.
So then they start singing it, and then at one point, because it starts and fire starts to erupt and things like that, and Agatha says at one point, she says to Alice, play it like you're a witch, and I just thought that was great, like, instead of saying like, really put your heart into it, it's like play it like you're a witch, and Alice takes over, and she basically gets to kill this curse, and it manifests itself as a demon. And so, which reminded me of a Buffy demon from the TV show. I had total Buffy vibes on that.
It was a very creepy demon.
Yeah, it was
Yeah.
really creepy. And so she does it, and then they get through the trial. Everybody seems to be okay. It's the piano opens, and that's where the stairs are. So they all get out, but we find out that Teen has been stabbed with the glass, and Agatha is very upset about it, and says, and Lily's like, he's strong, he'll make it, and she's like, don't. And then she looks at Rio and she says, don't. And then Jen remembers, oh no, I can heal him, and so she she gets it, she gets water, and she does the moonlight, she does the incantation, and they heal him. They do like a lean-to for him so he can rest. So and he and Agatha are kind of off, and the other four together, and they start telling like witch stories, like their scar stories. Oh, I got this scar from this. I got this scar from that. Very much like a like people trying to outdo each other kind of thing. Oh, what's this scar from, or what's that?
Right.
And so they start telling different things, and Agatha comes walking up after she has a conversation with Teen, and Teen is like, did you put the sigil on me? And she's like, no. And then she goes, I don't know. She's like, I wouldn't know, because the witch that does it wouldn't know. Once the sigil's there, she doesn't know. And then Teen asks her, oh, what happened to your son? And then Agatha shuts down. She goes off, and then she comes up and has like this scar on her thing, and she says it's from a knitting needle, and she talks about the Daughters of Liberty, and then Rio says that her scar is a person, and we find out, oh, it's Agatha, and her and Agatha have a moment, and Rio says he's not yours, and then
Right.
Agatha leaves her like, well, screw you, I don't want to talk about that. And then they all just that's kind of how, it ends with just that kind of thing. Like they're off to the next trial.
Right.
But they're still waiting because they're waiting for Teen to get his strength back.
Exactly.
And that's the end of the
Fourth episode, right? So that brings us to the halfway point on the show.
yes.
Now we are definitely over our time at this point.
Yep, we are. Yeah, we're almost 2 hours in here.
Right. So we're gonna go ahead and end it here. And we will find another time to finish this because we definitely want to talk about the rest of the show.
Yeah.
So cliffhanger, guys, for those of you who haven't watched the show yet, but
And then we'll be able to tell you all what we thought about it after we get through all of it.
Right.
Yep.
And maybe by the end of that, Shadu will have seen Penguin and we can do Penguin.
Yeah.
Yes. Yeah.
There we go. Well, guys, that is going to be it for this week. Jen,
you didn't even show us what you were doing.
Okay, so it's more framing than it is anything.
Oh, okay. So it's like the bottom, yeah.
Right. So it's like, it's got like a whole frame right here. There is a spring right here on there, and then you have a couple pieces.
Oh, cool. Look at that.
So, like it moves and everything like that. So the landing gear, once I have the landing gear in there, is probably gonna,
Oh, very cool.
That's neat.
Right. So there's a couple of different things that are built in here. Yeah, guys. Normally I would have Jen give me pluggables, but since you guys are both here, Shadu, give me all the pluggables. Go.
Yes, I do. I have all the pluggables for everyone. I am SSG Studios on YouTube and on Instagram. I currently do Elder Scrolls content, TTRPG videos, lore from my own fantasy world, my own custom music, paranormal investigations, and so much other nerdy stuff. I am also on Frey's channel. We have a little series called Classified, where we take your favorite pop culture characters and place them into their respective D&D classes. Journals of the Peoples replace Journals of Classes. In that series, we will go over the different peoples or species that inhabit the worlds of D&D. In the meantime, we are filming Season 2 of Classified at some point in the near future. I am in the distance learning sphere. I am on the download on Tuesdays, the build on Thursdays, and sometimes Fridays, which is the very show you're watching right now. And supposedly, I'm on Kyber Cave Productions. Supposedly.
Marginally.
Whoop. Okay. I didn't realize you were done. Jen, anything to add?
No. I
All right.
Not at all.
Perfect. He's like, I'm just gonna awkwardly sit here and just hi everybody. I don't know what I'm doing. I'm just gonna sit.
Like if you're gonna put me on the spot, at least give me something to do.
Yeah, I know.
Down
the road. Down
the witch's road.
Follow me, my friend.
To glory.
To glory.
At the end. Yeah.
Boom. All right. Well, ladies and gentlemen, that is it from us. We will see everybody on Tuesday, 200th episode. We're going to be having a whole crap ton of fun. We're going to be having, we have all kinds of guests that are coming on.
We have a bunch of guests. We have games. We have trivia hosted by yours truly.
That's right. It's going to be a ball of a time, guys. So do not miss the 200th episode. We will see you there. It's going to be a bunch of fun. I'm going to be there. I wouldn't miss it for the world.
Nope.
I will be there. I don't care if I have a migraine and I'm vomiting. I am going to be there.
And I am legally obligated to be there.
Yeah.
So,
yeah.
I
Legally.
still do anything for money.
It's right.
Yes. Yeah.
Even if he's, for some reason, he just ends up out in the middle of the desert of the internet.
Again, if you just, like, if you're like, driving down to LA or something, you just see me randomly on the side of the road, just ignore it. It'll be fine. You know I am there.
Sandra said, but who's going to be on time?
I'll be on time.
We'll see.
All depends on what happens with work.
Look, time isn't linear.
Yeah. No, it's not at all.
Time isn't linear, Jen.
A lot of people don't realize that.
Shout outs to 8-Bit Torrent on Instagram. Said happy Friday. I responded with a happy Friday. And he said, wow, that's awesome. I appreciate y'all. Have a good weekend. Hey man, you have a good weekend as well.
Yes, have a good weekend too. Tune in for the Tuesday show.
That's right.
Yeah.
Tuesday, 200th episode. We're gonna have a ton of fun. All right. Well, Tuesday. Be there or be square. All right. Let's jump into this. It's now time for the dance party. Oh, of course. Well, wait a minute. I forgot to do my whole thing. So, ladies and gentlemen, you can connect with us on all the social medias: Instagram, Facebook, Twitter. It's not X. We're never calling it X. It's going to be Twitter. At least for the moment that we're still there. I'm debating on whether I'm going to cancel it or not. Twitch, TikTok, Threads, which is where you're going to find us now. YouTube, Discord, MySpace, Vine, GeoCities, Friendster, Second Life, AIM, Farmers Only, Christian Mingle, OnlyFans. It's only pictures of Aaron Watson's feet and Mandels, the beard, Jamez's glasses, judging you on a table, and whatever the hell Shadu does for money is going to be.
Again, I mentioned LA. I'm just saying, don't question it.
Right, that's right. And of course, ladies and gentlemen, if you'd like us to break up with your boyfriend, girlfriend, significant other, pet, schoolyard bully, annoying neighbor, or just tell us how much you enjoy us, hate us, or wish the internet would consume us completely and spit us out at the feet of all of the witches that have died on the Witches Road, then you can shoot us an email at dist. Where's my button?
I mean, I was gonna say the feet of Aubrey Plaza, but it's.
That's my dream. Yeah. I am not a feet guy, but I will grovel.
Okay, you know what? Let's just end that there. I feel like we still want to have our. No.
Again, we could fight.
We're past having a PG-13 rating at this point.
Again, we can fight. I will probably kill you.
I am not fighting you. I am not fighting you.
Okay, how about this, Phil?
Yeah.
Aubrey or Ryan?
I'd still go Aubrey. I will forsake Ryan on this right here.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah. No, Aubrey Plaza all day.
You know what I like is that I don't have to fight for my third husband.
I will say for the record, I go more Florence Pugh. So,
Really?
Yeah.
You can take Florence Pugh all day. Aubrey
Is
Plaza.
it the way she says Kate the Bishop?
I just like
her. All right, well, it's time for the dance party. Oh, that's right, insnerding at AOL.com on the show. Let's do this, guys. It is time to get the dance. Wong is already getting it going. Let's go! It's a doctor that looks like he's ready to say, "You belong in a museum."
Distance nerding.
Ba, ba, ba.
I figured it was the perfect time to bring out Creepy Baby.
Shout out to Lucky Boy Productions.
Still waiting on that Wong show, everybody.
We'll see everybody on Tuesday. 100th episode.